Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. We are going to be talking about Maverick City's producer, and he is under fire because of the comments that he made about Maverick City and how it got started and how he models himself after secular music artists, and the Christians are in an uproar. And I understand it, but I just want to go through this interview and talk about it. So let me share the screen. Last time I did this, I had some issues with sound. So I'm going to start. Yes, this interview is called The Truth About the Gospel Industry. So let's do this. And then I'm going to play it for a little bit, and then I have to play it back and make sure it's sound.
You knew it. It was like this symbiotic relationships.
So let me see. Let me just check it on my end, and then if it's good to go, we're good to go, and we'll start. Oh, no, it should be working. Come on now. This always takes forever. There we go. Oh, on my end, and then if it's good to go, we're good to go, and we'll start. Oh, and gospel industry. So let's do this, and then I'm gonna play it for a little bit, and then I have to play it back and make sure it's sound.
You knew it. It was like this.
Oh, good. I'll have to edit this when I'm done. But okay, so let's listen to this interview. It's called The Truth About the Gospel Industry that no one wants to hear. People are trying to cancel Maverick City because of this. So let's listen to this and let's talk about it. I'm going to move it back just a little bit so that we can get full context.
Hey, well, what's his name? Ricky Dillon. I can't think of the other dude's name. What's his name? Who? No, it's not Ricky Dillon. Kip.
Dillon, I know. I can't.
What's the little dude now? I can't think of his name either right now. But you knew it. It was like this symbiotic relationships. I modeled myself after Scooter Braun. That's what I saw. When I come in anything, I'm not comparing myself to what's elite in that space. I'm comparing myself to what's elite.
Period.
What period?
Yeah.
Just period. So the best run management company I thought at the time was Urban Asoff and Scooter Braun. Yeah. Urban Asoff is a full stop. Scooter Braun had, SB projects. And that's what I believe was necessary in gospel. Mm-hmm.
So this is the first thing that people are upset about. They're upset that he's modeling the industry off of his success and his vision. Okay, hold on. So you guys, I have 7 siblings. The group chat is on fire right now. Of course, they always are on fire at the inconvenient time. Okay, there we go. Okay, so people are upset about this because they're thinking you as a Christian should not be trying to model after the non-Christian music industry. You should be trying to just preach the gospel and all that. And I understand that, but the Christian music industry is still an industry. And whether we want to believe it or not, anytime you have a business, if you're a Christian and you happen to run a business, or you're calling yourself a Christian business, you still have to have strategy. And do I think we have to model, there are universal principles that work regardless of whether you're a Christian or not. And so I don't understand quite the hype yet, because I'm I model my business after successful businesses. I'm a Christian. I don't have a Christian business, but I'm a Christian. So I model my business after whatever works. Now, I think in the music industry, it gets a little hairy because, of course, in the music industry, we have all of these unspoken soul contracts, weird things that are happening. So we need to listen to him and see what he's talking about when he says model after them before getting up in arms.
I wanted to build this organization. So that's why I started hiring managers to work with me.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was the pathway to success. And so during this time, we moving, the pandemic hit, my marketing, nobody's moving around.
Right.
So you got to find a way to make money.
Right.
Maverick was the only one still doing things, and I got lucky. There was a clubhouse where everybody was talking junk about Maverick.
Yes.
There was a clubhouse.
on that.
All the execs was talking junk about that because I didn't start Maverick. I bought into it. But I knew the kids. Chandler came from my church. Dante used to sing with Travis. Aaron Moses was our keys players. I knew the kids. And so I knew the owners because I met them in London. The way people were talking down on them and what they had done, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really thought that
it was unwarranted.
Beyond it was unwarranted, it was short-sighted.
Gotcha.
Like, it was really short-sighted. If you were looking, like, people look at now. So, like, people are looking at right now, and they see gospel right now. I see it 5 years from now. Like, not where it is, but where it's going. So you have to look at what is bubbling. And so what you saw under the surface bubbling was churches had stopped singing traditional gospel music.
This is absolutely true. And I think so, and I think this is tough because if you're Black, because this is who's like upset about this, right? If you're Black, you know that for a while, what was sung in church was like old gospel songs. And these were songs that were sung on the radio and they were sung in Christian music circles and in the gospel music scene. But we've sort of evolved as a church. Like, I think there are some churches where this is still the case, but on the whole, a lot of Christians were moving towards worship music anyway. They were not moving towards gospel music the way that gospel music had been presented. So, and when he said, I know people are so upset when they say the over singing. Yes, like people are kind of, like people aren't doing that. Like people are not listening to that anymore. They're just not drawn to that kind of music. And he's right.
Right. And the churches that were growing were singing worship.
Okay.
So what I knew, because I had worked in the church, was that when we redo the big worship songs, like if you see Todd do it again,
right,
that's an elevation song, or you see him do Goodness of God,
right,
it feels different than when Jen Johnson does it at Bethel,
right,
than when Chris Brown does it at Elevation.
Right.
And so what I saw in Maverick was the perfect storm. You had Black kids with, respectfully, white writers,
right,
and producers. So they were training them not to oversing, to sing it, to be singable.
This is really important too. And here's the thing, like, I think so where it gets tricky, I can see, is that we shouldn't, it's tough to say like, okay, we're trying to market this. Like we want to be, this is what's marketable. This is what's working. I think you always have to look at things like, is this going to bring people closer to God? That is arguably, he's saying it all kind of wrong. The spirit behind this is all kind of messed up. But the question is this going to reach more people? And the answer to this question is yes. Now, that's not why he's doing it, but you guys know what y'all meant for evil, God means for good. That's not why he's doing it, but that's kind of what he's getting at, is like, okay, I can market this to Black churches, right? We can be like a Black gospel song. But if we really want to reach the masses, we are going to have to do something that crosses all genres. Like I need the Black church to be able to sing it. I need the white church to be able to sing it. I need the Asian church, the Filipino church, like all of it, like the Latino church. I need them all to be able to sing these songs. And that is going to be what's successful. I don't know if there's anything inherently wrong with that, but I do think that the spirit of why you're doing something, like it can't just be all money driven. You also have to think, how can I reach the most amount of people for the glory of God? And I think the issue is that he is not coming off as if he's doing this.
And also they were making content during the pandemic when everybody wanted God. You know what I mean? And they were great songs. It wasn't like, we gonna get over it, we gonna get over it. They were making music that resonated with people because the reality is we didn't grow up like our parents.
Right.
I grew up with a two-parents household, both of my parents doctors. I don't know nothing about no struggle, no disrespect to anybody that does. I ain't grew up on no food stamps in the hood.
Yeah.
So my kids can't relate to, like the way Never Would Have Made It hit my grandma don't hit me the same way.
Gotcha.
You get what I'm saying? The way it's different. We relate to a different story. We relate to
I want to say something about this. The other thing that's happening is that we've also skipped a generation in terms of Christianity. This is something that we don't really talk about, but our grandparents sang these songs, but a lot of our parents, not mine, but I know that my peers, their parents are not Christians. Their parents didn't go to church. Their parents didn't sing gospel. So a lot of people are being reintroduced to Christianity, reintroduced to Christ, and reintroduced into the church through a different kind of music. We are in the era where even the Black churches, like take an Eric Mason's church or Philip Anthony Mitchell's church, or I'm trying to think of somebody else who's popular that people would know. They're not even singing like these old gospel slave songs, to be honest. They're not singing them. So you're getting reintroduced into Christianity, but not from that old school, like Baptist lens, or even like just, AME, Southern, whatever. You're not getting introduced to it from that lens. So this makes sense for a lot of people that this is what would be likable. Now he's going to go into the relatability of it. I know like this is going to offend a lot of people, but yeah, like I don't care to sing old gospel songs. I'm sorry, but I don't. Like I don't like the nothing but the blood. Like I don't want to do that like the whole song. Do you know what I mean? Like it's nice to be able to get into a rhythm. I can harmonize along with it. Like it's nice to be able to do that. And people are not trying to hear that. That's like just on a singing perspective, but thematically, yes, like people are no longer relating necessarily to I'm not going to make it, or he's going to get it. They're just not really relating to that on the same way. People are hungry for songs too that are that also where the gospel is being preached, and like when you're making a song about a specific psalm or something like that, like goodness of God is modeled off of psalms. So a psalm. So it's like people want to hear the gospel in their songs, and so he's on to something.
More our struggles today, and I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm just speaking to the general young Black kid. Our struggles today are more internal than they are external forces. Yes, there's still racism and all that stuff exists, but we getting up, going to work, the bills is paid, right. We got the cars, so like a song like
over 8,000 men have permanently broken free from the P word by watching one single video training that you can actually watch by clicking the link below. But I want to give you two
if he dresses the lilies. It's like, dang, God will keep me fly.
Okay, that's not what this song is about. And this is where people are like, okay, people are questioning this man's like morals and ethics. Let me play that for you one more time, because I'm like, that verse is not about you getting dressed. That verse is not like, that's actually not what that is about. Let me play that again. I'm like, the blasphemy.
Relate to more our struggles today, and I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm just speaking to the general young Black kid. Our struggles today are more internal than they are external forces. Yes, there's still racism and all that stuff exists, but we getting up, going to work, the bills is paid, right. We got the cars, so like a song like if he dresses the lilies, it's like, dang, God will keep me fly. It's like
that's not about what that song is about. And I think that's why it's so bothersome, this interview, for people, because the spirit behind this man is not like of reverence or of an understanding of the gospel. Like that passage is actually about God actually cares about your soul, and he will save your soul. And yes, he will give you, he's not going to make you fly necessarily, but he will give you what you need. The utmost of that thing being the gospel, but he will give you what you need. You'll have clothes, you'll have shoes, you'll have food. It may not be, opulence, but you will have something. And so people, I think, were turned off by his mannerisms, his abrasiveness. Not really like necessarily the issue. Like, I think if he would have said this differently, people would be okay with it.
You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different. Like now, it's like, promises, it's like those songs were resonating with us, rest on us. It's like, it's more about the presence of God. It's more vertical,
right,
than it is horizontal.
Right.
And so what you got with Maverick was you got the type of music that was expanding, and the best talent. And you put those two together, And I was like, shoot, you know, the solo artist thing cool, but these jokers can fill arenas.
And see, and this is again where people are upset about this, but I mean, it's like it is an industry. So yes, the goal of this is to have a successful group. I don't know if his goal is to have people hear the gospel. I haven't heard him speak once about like we've been able to reach so many people because of this. It's all been about the money and about the filling arenas. And I think that's what's throwing people off about this. But I have to say that like this is actually the industry. Like the industry is still the industry. Again, what y'all meant for evil, God will mean for good. So either way, God's going to get the glory out of this because people are going to hear the gospel, but that may have not been his intent. And I think people are feeling a little bit uneasy about how brazenly and openly he is talking about this as a pure industry instead of as something that he is blessed to do and grace to do by God. And I think it's bothering people, but he's not wrong. Like, how did Maverick get successful? Because that's what people were going for. Now, I do think there's a little bit of something here with like him being Black. I do think his persona is throwing people off. Like he's in this Louis Vuitton checker thing. He's got 8 rings on his fingers. I think he's giving mogul and not Christian. Because I think about like a Forrest Frank or a Brandon Lake. Y'all better believe that someone said, okay, Forrest Frank is like kind of like the Justin Bieber of Christian music, and we're going to market him as such. Do not play with me. That's exactly what they said, and they marketed him as such, and that's why he's filling arenas. He is the Justin Bieber of Christian music. In the same way, this group of Maverick is sort of like the boy band, girl band of the Christian music scene. So he's not wrong in that sense. It's just he's so brazen about it that he's not coming off as like, this is a great thing that we're doing for the glory of God. This is like a great thing that I'm doing for me.
I saw it then. I knew God had gave me this vision of worship music filling arenas. And I always thought it was going to be somehow like, because the reality is, a lot of people don't know this. We were going to do a group called Undivided with Travis and Israel, and they were going to run it. And we were going to put these artists together very similar to Maverick.
Okay.
This was it's 2017. Maverick started in 2018.
Wow.
But we couldn't work it out for various reasons. But if you look in the notes in my phone, you'll see we had these names, and Chan was one of them. What's the dude name from Arizona? Oh my Lord, white worship leader. Can't think of his name. But the fact of the matter, what I'm saying it for is God was putting collaboration in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And what you saw with Maverick is you saw this collaborative effort. You saw this thing, this ethos of we gonna disrupt this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the transition was I stopped working at the church. The pandemic had hit. Marketing was what I had. I owned all these cameras. I had this big company. We were doing marketing for Lifetime, BET, and all of this. And I basically just went, I was flying to Atlanta to meet with Tony and JJ. I ain't even telling the whole story the way it should go. So I'm gonna back up. We got a little time.
Yes, sir.
God dropped them on my heart in my office in June.
Okay.
Earlier that year. And he told me just to call them. Call JJ and Tony. So I was like, all right, cool. They never answer the phone. You talking about I don't answer the phone? They never answer the phone.
That's a fact.
They never answer the phone. So I'm calling. I'm like, dude, why you want me to call these rappers? Because at that time, man, was some little chumps to me.
Right.
I'm the one who got the big artists. We running worship. Me and Travis, we running.
It's this. It's like they were little chumps to me. They're nobody. We're running it's the arrogance. People are not feeling the arrogance. And it's like, you know what? I get it. The way that he's talking about them is with such, it's almost like it's so disrespectful because it demonstrates how it's like I raised you up. I did this for you. It very much reeks of the normal music industry. And I think that's why people, and I get it. Like, I'm like, oh, honey.
What I'm calling them for? You got my old background singer leading your thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? But now we gotta keep it. So like, you think about Maverick. Now you gotta think about what I thought about it then. I want y'all to know, I ain't calling because I'm thirsty now.
Right.
We killing it. You feel me? And I ain't no pride enough just letting it know to get the story right.
Oh no, there's absolute pride. There's absolute pride there. Like, you didn't actually need to say that. You're like, this. Listen, I don't think this is going to put a dent in Maverick City's pocket, but there's absolute pride there. This is just, yeah, he's prideful. And that's what you've been feeling this entire interview, which is why people are so uncomfortable with it, because it's like, ooh, is that the man behind the machine?
Hey,
Absolutely.
So I think that October Chan hit me. And Chan, this is, I fired Chan from my church. So this was
You said you fired Chan from the church?
From our church. I did. I used to run the church, executive pastor of our church. So yeah. Young kids, man, you know how it goes. Travis don't play that, man. One thing about Travis, man, he don't play that. He run a tight ship.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He gonna sit you down. You're gonna have to get out. If you ain't doing it the way you're supposed to do it, it ain't gonna work for you with Travis Green. You know what I'm saying? He don't play that. So they don't play that. Now he has got, as a leader, excellently, has grown, has matured so much. This early on.
Yeah, facts.
It's early in the church day. He probably been a pastor for 2 years. And he had a chance since he was 16-year-old little kid. Chan grew up with him. That's like his son. Right. So Chan calling me was a big thing. Because we have been separated. This is when Chan was at
All Nations.
Yeah, what's called Belong now.
Right.
Yeah, All Nations don't exist, dude. But
oh my God, dude.
There's still All Nations. All the
Matthew
churches
Stevens is a pastor of All Nations, but
all the churches changed their name.
Yeah, LeBron is Belong now.
No, but all of them changed their name. JJ Church got a new name.
But it's only one left. No, stay here.
What?
Matthew Stevens is a pastor of All Nations, but the rest of them that were in that Reformation have different names now.
Okay, so he got rid of the denomination. All Nations used to be a denomination.
Yeah, but that's the name of his church too.
Okay, I didn't know. I used to have a church.
Yeah,
well,
he got one in New York and one in Chicago.
Still, I thought they changed the one in Chicago.
That's his. That's headquarters.
Okay, cool. Well, shout out to All Nations. Didn't know.
Anyway, that's what Chandler was.
So that's what Chandler was. And so we talked. He was like, he needs some help. And so I was like, all right, cool. So then I'm still calling JJ Tony. Finally, when they're doing the recording for Old Church Basement, we linked up. We met up in Charlotte. It was great. That's right after the Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. I'm taking up for them. We keep going. We started doing the business together. And eventually, I just got busier doing the stuff with Maverick. And now we're trying to think he hired a different manager. And we just went on our ways.
Yo, that is so crazy. I remember those Clubhouse days. I met you with Travis around the time. He was like, I was one of the ones that was like, hey, man, because I remember Travis telling me, because Travis called certain people that he had relationship with during the Trump thing when he made the decision. I was one of the people he called just like, yo, I'm probably about to get killed. I'm telling you, God told me to do this. So he called certain people. Certain people told him what they said. And I remember I was with y'all, we was somewhere live together, and Travis told me, I was like, man, do what God tell you to do. I said, it don't matter what people say. And he was like, I'll mess with you. You didn't even know me. He was like, I'll mess with you. Because most don't have his back. I said, no, and from that moment, bro, you have always been consistent. Now, you are a different type of Norman. Norman, this is what I say about you. This is why I see you as a disruptor. Because you don't care about how you get it done.
You gotta
get it done.
Absolutely.
It ain't gonna be legal, ain't gonna be dishonorable, but you may not like the way I get it done. Yeah. But the results speak for themselves.
Absolutely.
And you don't mind calling people to the table.
Absolutely.
You don't talk about people behind their back, you get in the face. I never forget, I called him when we was on tour. And the background singers, we were having some issues and feelings. He said, I never saw.
You have to care about how you treat people. Fact. Now I'm trying to get better at how I treat people. Like my approach not being so, it seemed to be dismissive to the honor of a person. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be forthright and forthcoming and straight, brash, whatever you want to call it, but you don't have to be dishonoring to a person.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like I could not like somebody here. I don't have to tell y'all like I say, maybe you should do your hair like this instead. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of what I mean. Like, but before I was like, your hair messed up. Your hair ugly. I don't like your outfit. Instead of saying, maybe you should wear this. So for me, I think that I'm also calling it no nonsense. I hate small talk.
What I'm seeing here is just immaturity. I don't know how old this man is, but it's just immaturity. And so this whole interview just made people feel a certain type of way about Maverick City music. And I don't know if they're going to, what they're going to do about him, but this was probably the worst thing they could have done for marketing is let him speak, because they have such a beautiful reputation. Of course, they've had their issues with, there's the one guy who got kicked out because he's, was living a questionable lifestyle. But for the most part, Maverick City Music kind of has this pristine reputation. And this kind of like, when you listen to this man talk, again, the arrogance, the brashness, the pride, it kind of ruined. And you're like, this is what's behind that. Do I really want to support that? And that's a genuine question that people have to ask.
Yes. Like I know you if you calling me, you want something. Like we ain't homies, bro. You work for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't confuse that. I think a lot of times people confuse the nature of a relationship. Right. Like you and I are actually friends now. Like I don't really consider most people my friends. Right. So I don't care if they never talk to me again. Right. So that's just how I am. So I just look at it from the standpoint of, if you straight up, people know you to be straight up. So if you heard somebody say, I said something behind your back, you know they lying. Because I would just tell you to your face.
Wow.
So people like to hear music. They think, oh, I can do that. That's what's going to happen at the church. Stop doing that. Nobody want to hear no runs. They look at runs.
Trying to help somebody out. Listen, Maverick broke a lot of traditional Christian norms. Was that intentional or was it just God?
No, it was intentional. Maverick broke because the gospel norms wasn't working no more, man. Y'all sing too hard.
This is another thing that people got upset about, is that he was like, y'all sing too hard. I get it. Like I think what he's getting at is that there's two kinds of music for Christian music. There's music that you listen to, and then there's music that you sing in your car. And if you're looking to expand beyond, someone's home, if you want to be like worldwide household names, you have to play music that people can sing to. And this is what he's getting at. And a lot of people are upset because they feel like he was like downing gospel music, but like, yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. And I think that's why it's hard.
Y'all oversing. Stop doing that. Nobody want to hear no runs. They look at runs. They don't want to sing runs. That's why R&B and pop, that's why pop is more popular than R&B. People like singable music. Wow. They want to, like you would rap. That's why Chris Tomlin was the greatest worship leader ever. Why? You want to know why? Why? He's not the best vocalist ever.
Wow.
So people like to hear music. They think, oh, I could do that. That's what's going to happen at the church. The worship leader hear you singing, he think, I could never do that. He's not going to sing the song. Like, why would he? If you sing a song in a way that like it's congregational, that's why the mix on that stuff is different. We mix towards us singing. They mix towards the congregation singing. You'll hear a lot of loud audience, BGV, the more instrumentation. You're gonna hear the main vocal, but it's different. The reason in that is that makes you want to sing. The way you get people to love a song is they sing the song. Think about it. Think about the songs you love the most. You know all the lyrics.
Right.
And then you hear a song, no matter how good a song is, if you don't know the lyrics, it's like, next song. You can't wait to hear a song you know all the lyrics to. Everybody's that way. And so when you can get a singable song, then you got to hit. Then people want to sing it. And that's what Maverick made songs people wanted to sing.
Excellent.
And they made videos that looked like they was in the living room with you during the pandemic. Coming out of the pandemic, we had to come up with a new strategy of how to still invite people in. But all in all, Maverick took what they were doing in more so Christian worship music and brought it to gospel. You brought really well-developed songs, light production. Everybody say every Maverick song sound the same. So y'all sing them all. You know what I'm saying? Who cares if they all sound the same? You know, and there was some...
And they don't, but...
there's some struggles in that for them as well because you are... these are still really talented artists.
Right.
You look at it, like, these artists, they know that they are... I don't want to say dumbing down, but they're pacifying their strengths. Chandler can sing circles around. You know, these people can sing. You hear Brandon Lake can sing. Like Chris Staples, they can sing like Justin Bieber. They can do it, but there's something in bridling that. Like really, like, not going full go every time. Yeah. And then they didn't use BGVs. They used the choir. And the choir, they just took a different...
Yeah, and I think this is... when you get to this piece of it, yeah, he's just being he's just being a marketing guy. And a marketing guy says, how do I make this palatable for people all across the Christian spectrum? Is there anything wrong with that? Not necessarily. No. You still have to think like a producer. You still have to think like a marketing executive. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this
approach because the reality of what we were doing in gospel isn't what was permeating music at the time.
Right.
I look at consumption. People love to talk about number ones. If you talk about a radio number one in gospel, that's not a number one. The radio is not number one no more. You can't, if you look at the number one songs at radio and you combine the last 10 number one songs at radio, Skip Chan, Skip Kirk, they don't have 100,000 streams combined.
Jesus.
So having a number one at radio doesn't mean anything in gospel, not right now. And that's not a knock to gospel, that's a knock to us and supporting the infrastructure. So Maverick was able to get consumption. So you talk about, you go look at it today. And I'm gonna say something, most people are not gonna believe this. Maverick City outstreams the entire gospel industry combined.
I believe that.
By themselves.
I believe that.
If you add up every other artist's streams and just compare it to Maverick City, they outstream everybody else combined. And what that is telling you is that clearly, what they are doing is what people want to hear. Stop fighting the tide. People keep saying, we want choir music. Choir music would have never died if people want to listen to it.
And this bothered some people, but you have to do now, I think that you can still sing to the glory of God and change up your music to a way that's going to something that's going to be marketable. Like artists do this all the time. I think in the gospel industry, we almost have this idea that if it's not sung the way that we've always sung it, then somehow we're like compromising on Jesus. But it's like you can sing the exact same song and sing it a different way. Like CeCe Winans is good at that. Like you can sing the exact same song and turn it flat, as I like to say. Make it flat so everybody can sing it. So I know that I can make it. With him, I know I can stand. No matter what may come my way, my life is in your hands. Leave it at that. You don't have to do no matter what. You don't have to do all that. Just sing the lyrics flat and people want to sing it. He's not wrong about that. But I think we believe there's some like sacredness to singing gospel music the way that it is. And I think people are fearful of losing the genre of gospel music in that way. Rightfully so. I think what you need to do then as an artist is you do half of your album in traditional gospel and you do half of your album in what's working. This is the way that you still preserve your lineage of gospel music. And then you do what you need to do. I don't see anything wrong with that.
We need to do more quartet. If people want to listen to quartet, it would still be a thing.
Wow.
You don't see, like, when people stop consuming something, they don't want it. You don't see, okay, there's nostalgic value, like to a vinyl or to a Kodak camera, but at the end of the day, you still take most of your pictures on your phone.
Right.
You know, you go do the little thing, that's cool here and there, but you want that 8K picture.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm saying these things to say that there should have, the problem that happened was gospel should have embraced Maverick. They should have embraced it, made it their own, collaborated with them, done everything they could to see them go forward. The reason is, and they should have done everything to support and keep them together. This is why. It only benefited everybody else.
Facts.
It only benefited everybody else. The big tours you did, you get what I'm saying? The reunion is a result of Maverick touring.
Facts.
You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that they were the fix all. It was a lot that went into that. But what happened with Maverick was the opposite. Everybody hated on it. Nobody called it real. Everybody said it's this, that, is this. And all that happened from that is you saw the subsequent genre die. Woo. That's it. Now, Monarch don't exist.
Facts.
Motown probably got 5 to 6 artists. RCA, I ain't signed nobody. So where you gonna go, Malico? Like,
ain't no way I'm going to no Malico. They still owe me money.
So I'm saying this to say,
trash.
We went from this hype and everybody having access and everybody putting out albums now to either you sign a tribal or you're independent. And so I say this to say it's like,
Jesus.
Maverick was an opportunity for gospel. It wasn't an opportunity for them. And you had people that were connected. It wasn't like I was out here like, oh, we ain't never gonna work with y'all. They reaching out. They trying to get people to come in. They trying to get people to come right. They trying to get people to be a part. They were reaching out with their hands wide open, like, come do what y'all want. We need y'all help. And people thumbing their nose at them. Why?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense.
So this is something that I think people didn't really listen to either, because the gospel industry, I can see this, how this happens. The gospel industry is trying to preserve true gospel music, like in the sense of like the Yolanda Adams, you know, I don't want to say CeCe Winans. I'm trying to think of like who, Mahalia Jackson style music. And they don't want to be dragged into the Maverick City music. And the problem is that that's not what's selling right now. Doesn't mean the music isn't good. Like, doesn't mean the lyrics are not good. But what people want is they want to, let me be clear, the gospel music industry has never been like on fire. But what people want is people want music that they can sing to. People want music that they can relate to. People want music that is universal. And so Maverick City is giving the people what they want. Now, is he saying this in a way that, again, is brash and arrogant? 500%. And I hope he humbles himself, but he's not, he's speaking like an industry executive and not like a believer. And I think that's why people are upset about it.
I think in hindsight, now people be like, oh, man, you know, hindsight always 2020, but Maverick had to break the rules. It had to break the glass ceilings. If gospel had supported Maverick the way you would see a multitude of artists played on CCM radio. And why CCM radio? CCM radio has more listenership than R&B, rhythmic, you name it. Wow. Brandon Lake's song, Hell Fought Hallelujah, debuted in the Hot 100. The song does probably 7 million streams a week. Go look at
7 million streams a week?
Go look at your biggest R&B artist and see how many streams they do. Maverick outstreamed every R&B artist, not SZA, Chris Brown, the who's who. You would be surprised how much consumption is. Forrest Frank album, debut week did 18 million streams.
Jesus.
18, no. Let me make sure I'm right. Yeah, something like that. No. And it does 12 million a week. Your best R&B artists don't do that. The biggest, the best. Unless you go in SZA, Breezy, that level. You talking about R. Lennox? No disrespect to R. Lennox. She doesn't do that. And these boys selling out arenas. Dolo, 14,000 people. And we acting like we don't got it here. We have it here. But we have to support the infrastructure to keep it here. You can't be hating. Yep. So it's like I see stuff like, we can talk about it. I see stuff like, boom, why? There's not enough of a pie to be competing.
Facts.
So I don't try to compete. That's why if you hit me, okay, cool. If it's an opportunity, let's do it. When we do that, we going out, we bringing in all these outsiders. All you doing is taking resources out of the funnel. You're taking resources out of the funnel. That's all that we're doing. So what Maverick attempted to do was show people, we come together, we collaborate, how amazing something could be. What I tried to show in touring, we come together, we collaborate, how amazing something could be. Instead of people appreciating it, it's like, oh, how can I find somebody to tour me that's not Norman? Oh my God, I'm so sick of him. La. Why? What'd I do to you?
But put money in your pocket.
So this sounds like some industry beef that I don't really need to get into. But the point is that people are upset about this industry, about this interview with Norman. I could see, he's not the most personable person. He is not he's still a little rough around the edges. He's a little prickly to the touch. I understand it, but I don't necessarily think there's anything. He's a music mogul. I don't know that his primary focus is glorifying God. I don't know. I think his primary focus is making money. But the result of that is more people are hearing the gospel through Maverick City, through Forrest Frank, through Brandon Lake. And so, yes, oftentimes, like what we see behind the scenes, I think what people wanted to see was like this humble man who loves Jesus and who is, who's reverent and all that stuff. And I don't know if that kind of person would have got this job done, because there has to be someone who's like the shark in the ocean, and Norman is the shark. So that's pretty much it for this interview. I'll turn this off. Let me know what you guys think. Should people be upset about this? What do you guys think? Is this man, is he out of pocket? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.